Hi there, and welcome back to another episode of whatever this is this month. In case you're new here, I feel I should do this every now and then. My name is Summer Cannon. I am a horror author that is a contributor to a recently released New York Times best-selling anthology. Go me. Yeah. But more importantly for this channel, I am also a horror fan. And on this channel, I want to talk to you about books, mostly horror books, mostly indie horror books that I'm recommending to you. I don't talk about anything I don't like. We're all about positivity over here. So, hi, welcome. So, we're talking about the month of August. It is now September 2nd. We're almost on top of things over here. And I want to talk to you about some of the books that I read and loved in the month of August. The first book that I want to talk about is a book I actually got to blurb. I didn't buy this book. It was given to me to read to blurb. And I loved it so much that I want to recommend it to you. It is out now. This coming Thursday is when it gets its wider release. So check it out on wherever it is you buy your books. Amazon's probably your best bet. That book is This Is How a Villain Is Made by Amanda Headlee. And yes, I loved this book. It's not a long one. It is a shorter novella. But a lot happens in it. It starts right from page one. And one of the things that struck me when I was reading this book is how perfect the pacing is. Just that slow but consistent ratcheting up of the tension. And the main character in this book goes through so much. So many horrible things happen to this main character. And the structure of the story is meant to make you, the reader, understand why certain turns happen. And I mean, from the title, you can guess what the book is about. I'm not gonna work overtime to spoil it for you. You have to read it. Except just please believe me when I say this is good horror. This is, I talk sometimes about how much I like the cheesy stuff. I like the cheap stuff. I like the stuff that's maybe a little exploitative. I like the stuff that's just about the, fast-paced gore. I like that stuff. And I don't think any of it is more important than the other. I think they all need to exist to make a healthy horror genre ecosystem. But this kind of writing, I think when we're talking about people who aren't in the genre, people outside of it, it's the best of us. Those are the representatives we want to send out into the wider world and say, this is what horror can offer the world. This. And actually all three books that I'm going to talk about today meet that criteria. They're the best of us. But yeah, Amanda Headlee, This Is How a Villain Is Made. Check that out. The next book I want to talk about is Thrift Store Puzzles by John Boden. If you've never read John Boden, first of all, please fix that. But second of all, he's complicated in that I think he has ascended to a level where he doesn't really fit into, as a writer as a whole, he doesn't fit into a single genre. He kind of lives on his own island. And as a creative, I think that's what you should strive for. I mean, maybe it doesn't always result in big sales, but the stuff that you create, the works that he puts out are so singular and so unique. And it's always like, I might have to fight someone to say I'm John Boden's biggest fan, because the people who read him and like him, they get it. And there's no question, if he puts out something new, you're getting it. Because when you like to read, and when you like to read for the sake of the words, John Boden is the kind of writer you really want on your bookshelves. Because there's a difference, especially when we're talking about genre fiction, there's a difference between storytellers and writers. And again, one is not better than the other, but they are different. And that's not to say that storytellers don't sometimes happen upon a beautiful turn of phrase, or they'll write a sentence or a description of something that makes you have to go, that's a beautiful use of the language. And that's also not to say that writers don't weave a good tale. It's just that the manner in which the work is delivered is different. Like, I would say I'm more of a storyteller. My stuff tends to be more straightforward. I'm telling you a story. I don't often indulge myself in prose that it's ribbony, it's beautiful, and that's what John Boden's writing is like. Like, look how skinny this book is. It is a slip of a thing. There are CVS receipts longer than this, and it took me 3 sittings to go through this book because I kept reading something and then having to close it and being like, damn, he's a good writer. And I think that about all of his books. Now, this book, Thrift Store Puzzles, is very much firmly a horror book. There is a monster in this book. But this book, and the next one I want to talk about, it's so sad. There are horrific things that happen, but it sits on a base, on a foundation of just sadness. And it's so beautifully done, and it's so poignant, and it hits you right in the center of you that you remember why art is so important, why storytellers and people who make things up to entertain us, why they're so important. And Thrift Store Puzzles, it's about a young boy who befriends a retired writer who is currently suffering from dementia in it's an assisted living home, where all of his needs need to be basically met by staff. And this young boy, he's a young teenager, I think, loves to spend his time talking to this old man, sharing memories. But this old man, because his memories are leaving him, there's a horror in that. There's a horror in losing yourself and losing your memories and losing your life lived. But some of those things that he's forgetting are scary things. And that's where the horror comes in. This is perfectly put together, perfectly written. 5 out of 5 stars for me, babe. Hey, Thrift Store Puzzles by John Boden. Please read it. And the last book that I want to talk about is, I love this author so much. Dirty Heads by Dries. This is another one. Awful, horrific things happen in this book. Like, and this is another one where the tension and the pacing are perfect. Perfect. The unraveling of this tale is perfection. One of the complaints that I have a lot about books that I have a hard time getting through, I have a hard time finishing, is pacing. A lot of books, especially paperbacks from the 80s and 90s, there's always a middle bloat. And this is another thin one. There's not time for a middle bloat. I always appreciate that. But that middle bloat fucks with the pacing so hard that any tension that you're trying to build, any suspense, any dread in the pit of your stomach, it's affected by that. And it doesn't hit as clean because you have that drag in the middle. And this one doesn't have that. The pacing, oh my God, it's so perfect. So the horrible things that happen in this book, again, are the backdrop of it all is something that's so sad. And yeah, so this book is about the boy is 19 years old in present day. There's a long flashback part of the book talking about how he got there. The boy is, again, 19. He's homeless. He's living a vagrant life, on the move, stealing, taking handouts, just kind of living hand to mouth on his own because he has no home. And then the flashback explains how that happened. And during the present day pieces, the boy keeps mentioning how he's hiding from his monster. And the flashback explains the monster. And you don't understand quite what it is at first. It just seems like one of those kind of formless monsters that just appear sometimes in horror books. It's, you know, that whole, you know, normal life and then something goes wrong and life goes awry. That's a very consistent theme in a lot of horror, and that's not quite what's going on here. The horror was there all along. It's just the appearance of this monster makes it visible. And that offset with the background of the main character coming to terms with his own sexuality. He doesn't realize it at first until someone says it to him, and he spirals after that. And I watched someone that I love very much go through something similar. And it's not personal to me, but it hits close to home for me, where I find that so devastatingly sad. And that we live in a world where that's something that has to be thought of as something you struggle with. That I find that devastatingly sad. And it's in the background of so much of this story. And the ending is, it's sad. It's an acceptance, but it's a sad acceptance of other things. And I can't recommend this book enough. Just read it and you'll understand. Once you get about 2/3 of the way through it, that's when you really come to understand the mastery of pacing with this book. How the unraveling of the story is so perfect. So yeah, that's 3 books. Little bit of summer related news. I'm not sure how many books I'm going to get to in the month of September. Like this week, it's Tuesday right now. The rest of this week is going to be absolute madness for me. Next Tuesday, I have another event related to the end of the world as we know it, anthology. And then I should be left alone. I talked last time about my Halloween short, and it is being written, but I had an editing client, that I had to work on. And I mean, the sad fact of the matter is editing pays better than writing. So I had to give that priority, but it's done, sent off, and I'm back to writing. I'm not 100% certain I'll make my self-imposed mid-September deadline. But the thing is it will be up in time. It'll definitely be done by the first week of October. It'll just go up when it goes up. So follow me on social so you can see. There's like giant clouds outside that's affecting the light. I can see this messing up. I'm very sorry. You're not here for the videography though. So keep an eye out for that. I'm really enjoying writing this short. I was just talking about, and I talked last time about this, but I'm going to reiterate because this is my world and I make the rules, right? I'm indulging in being wordy and really delving into language with this story. Not that my stuff will come out looking like a John Boden story or anything like that, or M.R. James story, where the wording is just so delicious. It'll just be wordier than my usual. That's what it's going to be. And I'm having such a good time just kind of stretching some muscles that life kind of forced me to put aside for a while. We're getting back into it. We're muscling through. And so that's it. That's for the books. I do also want to bring up, if you guys haven't been watching the Twisted Metal show, I'm watching it on Peacock. I don't know if it's available anywhere else. That show is a ton of fun. I'm not a video game person, but I do love playing card games. So I love, I'm going to age myself here, but fuck it. I love all the Mario Kart games. I loved, for the original PlayStation, the Gran Turismo game. I loved that game. And I always loved the Twisted Metal games. I always loved those. And so when I saw that they were making a show, I was like, yeah, we need to watch it. And I'm still in the first season. I'm not in the second season yet, but that show is a lot of fun. It's vulgar and funny and really unhinged. Like, I expected it was going to be, oh, we're all badasses who kill each other and drive cars, rah. No, everybody is a clown. Everybody's weird and goofy, and it makes the whole premise and the world that this exists in better, because you know, the real world being what it is, some sorts of fiction aren't going to feel fictional all the time. And so when you make everybody kind of goofy or everybody kind of weird, watching them go through things that are otherwise horrific, it's a nice break from reality. It's, you know, laughing at certain things. Highly recommend that show if you haven't checked it out. And if it's your thing, if it's not your thing, that's okay. I won't judge. That'll be it. Like, I hope everything is going well with you all. I know what it's like out there, and I hope you're able to find your peaceful moments. I hope you're able to find your little escapes, because they mean more now than I think they ever have before. So I hope you're getting those, and I will be back next month. Hopefully I'll read some more new fun things, and next month when I do make my new video, it'll be the beginning of October, so yay! Who's looking forward to it? Yay! I am! I'm sorry, I'm going. Okay, bye.